We're talking today about stress. And I said that stress is something on the outside that elicits a response. I said there are natural stresses and unnatural stresses. The natural stresses are like the wind and the rain and gravity. And those natural stresses help to keep us strong and help us to grow. Yes, they do wear us down a bit when we get older, but early in life, we need those stresses, and throughout our life, actually. So they're natural. Then there are unnatural stresses, such as cruelty, meanness, confusion, seduction, pressure, rejection. And I used the word cruelty, I'll say it again, all manner of cruelty, and violence and confusion. You see, those are unnatural stresses. And injustice. Injustice is a stress. So now you see, there are unnatural stresses. And then I talked about responses. And I said that to the natural stresses, our body must respond. But I said, be careful to keep it natural and not to overreact. For example, I said that if you have work to do, well, then it's a sort of a stress, isn't it? It calls upon you to do something. Well, then do your work. But don't resent your work. Don't be angry at your work. See the difference? So do your work, do your duty, but without resentment, without anger, without hostility. Now, there are also stresses that ought not to be reacted to. But you see, we have been so overreactive in our lives, so overreactive, mainly with resentment. See, when you react with resentment, let me put it in a very simple way. I think maybe this you'll understand. When you react with resentment, you set a bad example for your body and for everybody else. But resentment, you see, is kind of a secret thing, isn't it? Other people may not know they may see it, but they may not. But your body knows it. You're setting a bad example. And when you're reactive, when you hate this and are irritated by that and are angry at this and judge that and look down your nose at these people and resent those people and so on and so forth, when you resent your work, when you're irritated at other people in the office and so on, well, you're setting a bad example for your body, but your body is designed to obey the conscious will. So when you are resentful, then your body follows suit and obeys with hormonal changes, with various bodily changes. You know, your blood vessels constrict and your tummy gets upset. And all of these things happen when you have secret hostility and resentment and anger toward people. So now, you basically, when you're reactive and judgmental and hateful, you train your body to become reactive. And then when things come along that the body should just not even respond to at all, your body is trained to overreact. And so it overreacts. Are you with me? But now, if your consciousness, if your soul were calm, that's right, and had poise, and you were good-natured and light-hearted, and you didn't take umbrage, and you didn't hate other people or resent them, and you weren't irritated. You had a kind of an attitude of friendly neutrality. Then your body could begin to also calm down. And much of the wear and tear on your body, much of it, is due to, well, to your overreactions, isn't it? But then look what happens. You overreact. You become nervous. You become tense. You get a headache. You get a tummy ache. And then what do? Then you try to get rid of the symptoms. Instead of looking at the cause, which is your attitude, you try to get rid of the symptoms. So you drink, you smoke marijuana, you take pills, or you try to distract yourself. And then the pain of your overreaction and the pain of sensing you're wrong, sensing your weakness, your inferiority. That's right. Resentment is an inferior reaction. your lack of graciousness. Well, sensing that, it causes your consciousness a little bit of a pain, and so you want to get rid of the pain. So then you try to substitute pleasure as a distraction. So you eat too much, drink too much, smoke too much, party too much, and then you try to distract yourself with work and work too much. And then what does that do? It taxes the body. So now your attitude, you're attempting to avoid the truth. You're attempting to hide from the truth and distract yourself and keep yourself endlessly busy. Now it stresses your body. Do you understand that you are stressing your own body? So now what are you going to do about it? Well, you have to knock it off. You have to knock it off. So you need what one person called an attitude adjustment. You've got to have an attitude adjustment and take a sober look at yourself. Now, what helps you to do that? Well, the truth. The plain and simple, unvarnished, unadulterated, cold, hard truth. Just take a good look at yourself in the mirror and admit, I am a resentful person. I'm a judgmental person. Who are you judging? Possibly it's your husband, it's your partner, your kids who you resent for making demands upon you. You resent people at the office. You resent your boss. You resent other drivers. You resent the neighbor for this and for that. See? And judge them. Well, you have to take a look at that and just see that that's not good. And do you really want to be that way? Well, some people do, but a lot of us don't. And so, what are you going to do? Well, you have to begin to once again cling to, yearn for, cling to, believe in, trust in, follow, obey those ancient virtues that you heard about and those noble ideals that you once believed in. See, when you were a child, you knew about love and about patience and about courage and about strength of character and about forbearance and long-suffering. You knew about those, and you admired people that had those virtues, and you read about them in stories, and you wanted to be that way, didn't you? You wanted to grow up to be a princess or a prince with graciousness and nobility. But what happened? Well, you went out in life, and you were tested. You were tested by other people, and you were tested and found wanting. And you became impatient. You became angry. You became resentful. And then, seeing that, you didn't want to see it. So what did you do? You threw in the towel. That's right. You threw in the towel, so to speak, and said, well, what's the use trying to follow these ideals? Because I just can't do it. So you threw in the towel. And it's because other people are cruel and stupid and mean. And they take advantage of me, and they don't honor me, and they don't respect, and they don't think well of me. And so you hated them, and then you decided just to go ahead and hate. And you decided to throw in the towel as far as the ideals go. Well, now look. The ideals are always there, and they're from God. And He is always there. And you've also resented Him. That's right, you resented Him because the world didn't give you what you wanted, and you blamed Him. But now what you have to see is that He is there, and He is gracious, and He is forgiving, and the ideals are still there. Those beautiful ideals that you once loved and believed in. But you have fallen away from them, that's all. All you have to do is reconnect with them, and then you can become the prince or the princess. So how do you do that? Well, I can be of a little bit of help. First of all, you need to learn how to stand back. Now you're too lost in thoughts and emotions. That's right. When you get lost in your thoughts, those thoughts pull you down, don't they? They pull you down, and your thoughts are filled with excuses and rationale and justifications, and your thoughts were always there. Well, what's the use? Ideals are no good. People People don't respect ideals. It's just it's a dog-eat-dog world. And if my husband were better, if my wife were better, if my kids were better, if my neighbor were better, if my boss were better, if my work was better. So you always have lots of excuses and rationale and justifications down there in your mind. So you have to stand back from those. Stand back. Don't believe them anymore. See? Just don't believe them. Just watch them. See how they're teasing you. See how they're stressing you. They are stressing you. And if you give up your faith, if you believe them, if you doubt what's right, if you become emotional, if you go along with them, do you see what they've done? They succeeded in getting to you and getting a response out of you. So just watch them. Don't believe them. Don't disbelieve them. Just watch them. Stand back. Have mental distance. All those negative ideas that want to pull you down, let them go by just watching them. Let them pass without reacting to them. Do you see what I mean? And when you do that, you're okay again. Now listen carefully. Listen very, very carefully. When you were a little child, long time ago, you were okay. You were sweet. You were innocent. You had courage. You had love. You loved what was right. And you were a good person. Yeah, you were just a kid, but you had something. You didn't even know that you had it. What you had was a closeness to your intuition, to your conscience, a closeness to God. But when the world teased you, when other kids teased you, and your parents yelled at you, and things didn't work out the way you wanted them to, then you became resentful and angry at them and at God and at everything. So all you did was fall away. Come back to those ancient verities. Come back to your Creator. He's very forgiving and very gracious. All He wants you to do is come back. That's all. He wants you to come back and admit you were wrong, and then believe in what He says and ignore all the naysayers and the liars and all the negativity and all the stuff that comes out of your brain. Where does it come from? Who knows? Just watch it. Ignore it. Cling to what's right. Cling to what's good. The meditation that I have is very helpful in that regard. It teaches you how to stand back and get a little bit of mental distance. So you can stand back from your thoughts, stand back from your emotions, and then you can go out in the world and watch people without resenting them. And then you'll get better and better until you become like you were when you were a little child. Remember, Christ said, unless you become like a little child, you cannot enter into the kingdom of God. So become as you were back then. Innocent, sweet, watching people and not hating them. And you'll be on your way. And life will become increasingly good. Now, I want you to go to my website and get the meditation. Give it a try. It's free. It's free. And my website is sheddingshackles.com, sheddingshackles.net, or sheddingshackles.us. Until next time, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.